If World War II had ended differently, a hypothetical analysis. World War II, 1939 to 1945, was one of the most consequential conflicts in human history. Reshaping global politics, economics, and society, the war ended with the unconditional surrender of the Axis powers, Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan, and the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, setting the stage for the Cold War. However, what if the war had ended differently? What if the Axis powers had achieved a negotiated peace? Or if one of the Allied powers had withdrawn from the conflict? This analysis explores several alternative scenarios and their potential implications for the post-war world. Scenario 1. A negotiated peace in Europe, Axis survival. One plausible alternative is that Nazi Germany and the Western Allies, primarily the United States and the United Kingdom, reached a negotiated peace, leaving the Soviet Union to fight alone in the East. This scenario could have unfolded if the Allies had prioritized the containment of communism over the complete defeat of fascism, or if Germany had successfully repelled the D-Day invasion in 1944. Implications. Division of Europe. Europe might have been divided into spheres of influence, with Nazi Germany retaining control over Western and Central Europe, while the Soviet Union dominated Eastern Europe. This would have created a tense, bipolar continent, with Germany acting as a bulwark against Soviet expansion. The Holocaust and genocide. A negotiated peace would have left the Nazi regime intact, allowing the Holocaust to continue. Millions more Jews, Romani, disabled individuals, and other persecuted groups would have been systematically murdered, with devastating long-term consequences for global demographics and moral consciousness. Cold War dynamics. The Cold War might have been a three-way struggle between the United States, the Soviet Union, and a resurgent Nazi Germany. Germany, with its advanced scientific and industrial base, could have become a nuclear power, further complicating global geopolitics. Decolonization. The survival of fascist regimes in Europe might have delayed or altered the process of decolonization. Fascist ideologies often glorified imperialism, and Axis powers might have sought to expand their colonial holdings, leading to prolonged conflicts in Africa and Asia. Scenario 2. Japan's victory in the Pacific. Another alternative is that Japan achieved a decisive victory in the Pacific, forcing the United States to negotiate a peace settlement. This could have occurred if Japan had won the Battle of Midway, 1942, or successfully invaded Hawaii, crippling the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Implications. Japanese hegemony in Asia. Japan would have established itself as the dominant power in East Asia, creating a Greater East Asia co-prosperity sphere that included China, Korea, Southeast Asia, and parts of the Pacific. This would have led to the exploitation of resources and populations under Japanese rule, with long-term economic and social consequences. U.S. isolationism. A defeat in the Pacific might have reinforced isolationist sentiments in the United States, leading to a withdrawal from global affairs. This would have weakened the post-war international order, potentially allowing other authoritarian regimes to rise unchecked. Nuclear proliferation. If the United States had not developed or used atomic bombs, the nuclear arms race might have been delayed. However, Japan or another power could have eventually developed nuclear weapons, leading to a different kind of Cold War. Impact on China. A Japanese victory would have prolonged the occupation of China, delaying the Chinese Communist Party's rise to power. This could have altered the trajectory of the Chinese Civil War and the eventual establishment of the People's Republic of China. Scenario 3. Soviet collapse and German dominance. What if the Soviet Union had collapsed under the pressure of Operation Barbarossa, leading to a German victory on the Eastern Front? This scenario assumes that Germany successfully captured Moscow, Leningrad, and the Caucasus oil fields, forcing the Soviet government to surrender or retreat beyond the Urals. Implications. German control of Eurasia. Germany would have controlled vast territories from France to the Ural Mountains, creating a totalitarian empire with unparalleled resources. This would have allowed Germany to dominate Europe and potentially challenge the United States for global supremacy. Genocide and ethnic cleansing. The Nazi regime's plans for Lebensraum, living space, would have been fully implemented, resulting in the genocide and displacement of millions of Slavs, Jews, and other groups. Eastern Europe would have been repopulated with German settlers, fundamentally altering the region's demographics. Technological advancements. Germany's advanced scientific research, including its rocket and nuclear programs, might have accelerated in the absence of Allied interference. This could have led to earlier space exploration or the development of more advanced weapons. Allied response. The United States and the United Kingdom might have shifted their focus to containing German expansion, potentially leading to a prolonged Cold War or even a direct military confrontation. Scenario 4. Allied withdrawal or fragmentation. What if the Allied coalition had fractured during the war? For example, if the United States had not entered the war after Pearl Harbor, or if the Soviet Union had signed a separate peace with Germany. Implications. Axis consolidation. Without the full force of the Allied coalition, the Axis powers might have consolidated their gains, creating a world dominated by authoritarian regimes. This would have stifled democracy and human rights movements for decades. Economic consequences. The global economy would have been shaped by Axis policies, which prioritized autarky, economic self-sufficiency, and militarization. This could have led to slower technological and economic progress compared to the post-war boom under the US-led liberal order. Cultural impact. The cultural and intellectual flourishing that followed World War II, driven by the defeat of fascism and the spread of democratic ideals, might not have occurred. Instead, fascist and militaristic ideologies could have become entrenched globally. Long-term instability. A world dominated by Axis powers would have been inherently unstable, as competing fascist regimes, e.g. Germany, Italy, Japan, might have eventually clashed over resources and territory. Conclusion. The importance of the Allied victory. The actual outcome of World War II, while far from perfect, laid the foundation for a relatively stable international order. The defeat of the Axis powers prevented the global entrenchment of fascism, allowed for the establishment of the United Nations, and set the stage for decolonization and the spread of democratic ideals. While the Cold War introduced new challenges, it also fostered technological advancements and a balance of power that prevented another global conflict. A different outcome to World War II would have profoundly altered the course of history, likely resulting in a darker, more oppressive world. The Allied victory, achieved at great cost, remains a testament to the resilience of democratic values and the importance of international cooperation in the face of tyranny.